Okay, how is everybody? Great. Are you properly caffeinated? Okay, I am. I've had 4 cups, so I'm ready to rock and roll today. My name is Lisa Bodell. I'm the CEO of a company called FutureThink. It's a company that I founded just shy of 20 years ago. We're in New York City, right across from Grand Central. And I have teams that are located across the world, in Singapore, in Frankfurt, in London, across the United States. And they all travel to about 30 countries a year, helping leaders better embrace change and question their assumptions. And I'll talk a little bit more about how hard that task is in a minute. Futurist game. My background is that I am a trained futurist, and I have a team of futurists, many of them who studied or are professors at the University of Houston Clear Lake, or in Singapore, or in Leeds, or in Manoa. It's a trained program. You can get your master's in science in it. And the goal of a futurist is to help companies come up with possible, probable, and preferable scenarios for change. Possible, probable, and preferable scenarios for change, right? The best way to predict the future is to create it, and you need scenarios to do it. And one of the games we play is we help people understand if they are really attuned to weak signals for change. Let me see by a show of hands here, how many people think that they are attuned or aware of weak signals for change? Just raise your hands for me. Don't do this, do this. Okay, some of you. All right. So this is the game. It's called In the News. And I am going to read to you some headlines that are in the news and are weak signals of what's going to happen in the future. You have to decide whether these headlines that I'm going to read to you are true or false. If you think the headline is true, you are going to stand up and give me jazz hands, okay? If you think it's false, you're going to stay seated with your arms crossed and look very angry. Okay. So get those books down, get ready, stretch out. I'm going to read you the headline and then ask you to stand. Here we go. Here's the first one. True or false? Jawbone, Redbox, and MIT are developing retail experiences driven on your behavior, right? Behavior is the next frontier. So in Boston, there was a pilot launched on April 1st, very cool, of Redbox kiosks, and they will read customers' moods and their profiles from their fitness tracker, right, from your Jawbone. And the idea is when you go up to the kiosk, based on your profile that it reads, it will recommend movies based on how you are feeling. Okay, recommend movies based on how you are feeling. If you think it's true, stand up, jazz hand. Look at this guy. He's like, I'm on it. I'm so on it. If I could put my legs up, I would. All right, stay standing, guys. Stay standing. Good. We got an angry person over here. I like it. Keep your hands up. So everyone's seated. I would like you to look at these people because these are visionaries, people, right? These are risk takers. These people are wrong. Sit down, guys. Yeah, you're wrong. You guys, you never start with a true. That's like a little hint, okay? In groups, I would like you to pretend that you are your #1 competitor. And putting that hat on, now I'm going to give you 30 minutes, and I want you to kill your company. I want you to put yourself out of business. And it was like I had lit the room on fire. They were so excited to have an out-of-company experience, to be able to attack their company in a non-political way, to get their war mentality on, to look at what the weaknesses were without thinking about protecting themselves. Because how you usually do it is you do strategic planning, and that's very different than killing your company. Right? Strategic planning is when this is what you do. Every year, you look for last year's PowerPoint. You open it up, and the first thing you do is you change the date. That's what you do. Okay. Right? That's what you do. And then you go through all these other slides, are flowery and sound good, and then you get to the SWOT. And by the way, I like SWOTs, but I think they're way overused because they're the biggest slide and they're the thing everyone banks on. So this, plus the financials, of course, but strategically, a SWOT is this thing where you go through and you say, well, we have a lot of strengths, of course. Weaknesses, there's a few. Well, maybe they're not weaknesses. Maybe they're opportunities, in fact. And it's like this menagerie that we go through. Oh, my God. I think the best thing you can do is to kill first. And so this exercise that we did with this company was they killed their company. They came up with all these things that were weaknesses. And then we figured out how to turn them back on their real competitors. And then we killed rules, we killed processes, we killed all kinds of things. And it was very freeing because it created the space for more. We don't give ourselves permission to get rid of.